In the news tonight, state government to intensify enforcement of ban on street trading. Today is World Consumer Rights Day. Federal government announces decline in laissez fever cases. On the foreign scene tonight, Israel launches air attack on Gaza after rockets fired at Tel Aviv. Before the news, Ebere Ugumna, the news in detail. State government says it will intensify efforts of enforcement of ban on street trading in the coming weeks. Governor William Biano stated this while commiserating with the Opi Wake Onitsha and Umuchu accident victims. Government House correspondent Eji Kabana tells us more.
Governor Biano, while assuring that state government will pay the victims' hospital bill, noted that from the briefing he got, many of the people involved in the accident were street traders, adding that investigation is ongoing, which will help to work out ways to prevent future accidents in the area. He urged Anambra to enroll into the state health insurance scheme to give them easy access to quality health services, especially during emergencies.
The people here are being treated by the government, and it's not all the time that the government will rally around and be able to do so, depending on the location. But if you have medical health insurance scheme, you'll be appropriately treated. It's also an opportunity to advise in Anambra on insuring their property. Insurance is one of the ways to get some succor when you have a challenge.
At Afo Ibuhubu, Umuchu accident scene, Governor Obiano asked Anambra to invest in property insurance to protect their business against disaster in case of emergencies, urging them to go to their local government offices to enroll in the state health insurance scheme. The governor further directed the Federal Road Safety Corps to enforce installation of speed limit devices to reduce road crashes, adding that state government will pay the hospital bills of the victims.
I understand 3 people died. The truck is still there. I'm going to direct the road safety to borrow a crane from one of our major contractors to be able to pull that truck out. Once more is to sympathize with the families that lost the loved ones, and to reassure the other people that the government will take care of the injured.
The State Police Commissioner, Mr. Rabiu Ladodo, Health Commissioner, Dr. Joe Akabike, Commissioner for Transportation, Mr. Uchenno Kafo, among others, accompanied the governor on the visit. Recall that the Opiwe Onitsha accident involving some vehicles, including a petrol tanker laden with about 33,000 liters of kerosene, claimed some lives and injured others, while 3 people lost their lives at the Umuchu accident, and 8 victims are currently receiving treatment in a hospital. From Umuchu, in Aguata Council area, Ejike Abana, ABS News.
Schools in the state have been urged to encourage their students and pupils to participate actively in debate competitions. Speaking when they visited St. John of God Secondary School Oka venue of the 2019 Governor's School Debate Championship, Anambra State Commissioner for Basic Education, Professor Kate Emmanuel, disclosed that 1,500 public and private secondary and primary schools are participating in the competition. Education correspondent Theophilus Okoha now completes the story.
That debate song set the tone for the competition. Professor Menoga witnessed the debate for the primary schools category, which was between Kweloka Primary School and Progressive Primary School, Oka, who deliberated on the theme, children should be up to 18 years before having access to social media, while the secondary school category, which was between Community Secondary School, Umuoka, and the private school, deliberated on the media to focus on the personal life of politicians. Speaking later in an interview, the commissioner said the debate initiative is part of state government's measures to sharpen speaking ability of skilled children. She urged teachers in both private and public schools in the state to mold their pupils and students to participate in the debate competition.
We found out that to be able to develop what we want Anambra State to really be, we want Anambra State to be a place where we can export human resources, which is very important. we need to catch everybody, whether in private and public school. And that's why we extended our tentacles to the private schools too. And I'm excited about that.
Earlier in an interview, the coordinator of Bring It on Africa, which is collaborating with the ministry in the program, Mr. Onyeka Ene, who listed the cash and consolation prizes for the best debaters, said the best 5 debaters will represent Nigeria in World Schools Debating Championship later in the year.
Bring It on Africa is an NGO that has experience. We are quite experienced in things like this. We are here to help in finance, in fine-tuning the talent that we have in Anambra State.
Also speaking, the Zonal Education Officer, Mrs. Ngozi Udo, who supervised the debate competition, expressed satisfaction with the performance of the competing schools.
I believe, and from what we have seen, that our children really have future in the debate competition, and we need to take us up to where they usually take us up to.
Theophilus Okoha reporting for ABS News.
The international community is observing today as Consumer Rights Day. It is a day set aside in solidarity with the international consumer movement, in addition to promoting basic rights of consumers. Amaka Chibuzokoe reports.
The day, which was first celebrated in Nigeria in 1983, was inspired by our one-time President of the United States, Mr. John F. Kennedy, who sent a special message to the Congress on 15th March 1962, where he addressed the issue of consumers' rights. Speaking on the significance of the day, the zonal coordinator, Southeast Consumer Protection Council, Mrs. Ngozi Obidike, said the day was set aside to celebrate and recognize the importance of consumers, as all products are for public consumption. Mrs. Obidike said that her office is working tirelessly to ensure that no counterfeit or expired product is on sale in the market, charging the public to monitor, examine, and check whatever they are using. She also advised that people should be conscious of the quality of whatever they purchase and make complaints if any product is not up to standards.
I think the message we can stress today is the message we have for consumers for this year's World Consumer Rights Day. And what is that message? Tested smart products. Tested in every ramification. When we say smart product, we know that we are talking of even what you have is a smart product. They can just, the rate at which it can take information, save information, dispatch information, make use of information. That's why we call it smart pro, very fast.
Contributing, an industrialist, Chief Israel Ezwe, called on various regulatory bodies to educate the customers on the inherent dangers of patronizing substandard products. Chief Ezwe, who is the traditional prime minister of Awa in Orumba North local government area, used the forum to canvass for stiffer penalties for those engaging in the sale of fake products. The theme for this year's event is Tested Smart Products. Amaka Chibuzo Okoye, ABS News.
Various parties involved in the Abagana, Ukwu, Enugu, Aba, Enugu Agidi and Ukulu land disputes have been urged to guard against their utterances in order not to incite or offend anybody. The chairman administrative panel of inquiry into the matter, Justice Chinyere Anibogo, retired, made the appeal during yesterday's proceedings at the government house. Oka Chibuzo Okoye has details.
Justice Anibogo urged all the parties to look at their documents, decisions and judgments that have been given and delivered on the matter since 1908. Noting that unguarded utterances from parties could offend someone. Justice Anibogo urged the parties to put away individual prejudices and look at their facts in order to have an amicable resolution of the matter.
We will not tolerate anything whatsoever to return us to square one. And for those of you said you didn't understand what went on. There's no way Enugu can deny what went on, because Enugu Community Development Union wrote this petition. That's it here.
The state commander of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Mr. Sule Momodu, and another member of the panel, Venerable Amechi Huosa, equally urged the parties to ensure that the matter, which has lasted for many decades, comes to a logical conclusion.
I urge Enugu, don't let pride or anything whatsoever be the issue, you've made a mistake, accept it, withdraw your petition, we'll move on.
The Enugu representatives to the Surveyor General of the state who were summoned to appear before the panel yesterday were all present. The traditional ruler of Enugu, Igwe Raf Epe, his Abagana counterpart, Igwe Mbamalo Okeke, Igwe Robert Ezofukbo, and that of Nofia, Igwe Chijoke Wankwo, were all present at the proceedings. In Oka, it's been Chibuzo Okoye for ABS News.
And away from that, 35 persons have been arrested for drug-related offenses in parts of the state. The people were arrested during a two-day joint raid on 8 hotspots by the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, the military, police, Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, Prison Service, and Nigeria Immigration Service. Equiajide was there for the ABS and reports that the spots raided included the Newi 100-foot road, Ihiala Motor Park, Aba Park, Obosi, Okija, Okpoko, Owerri Park, Lagos Park, and Benin Park. We have details taken from our studios.
Include 6.3432 kilograms of cannabis sativa, 9.4 grams of cocaine, and 4.3 grams of heroin. Reacting to the arrest and seizure, the state commander of NDLEA, Mr. Sule Mamudu, said the joint raid has come to stay as the agency and its sister agencies will from time to time clamp down on drug peddlers to ensure that the state is free of illicit drugs, especially in the parks. He commended Governor Willie Obiano for giving them the needed logistics to do the work. Mr. Mamudu disclosed that those arrested will be screened and the innocent ones among them will be left off the hook while the guilty suspect will be charged to court. The commander advised parents to always monitor the activities of their children so as to know when they have deviated. He cautioned all illicit drug peddlers and abusers to leave the state because the agency is all out in its onslaught against hard drugs dealers.
Well, moving on to our national stories, the federal government has announced a decline in number of new cases of Lassa fever in the country. Chief Executive Officer, Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, Dr. Chikwe Ihekwazu, who disclosed this at the news conference in Abuja, said that the country had witnessed a reduction in the number of people who have died from the disease compared to 2018, adding that the NCDC and partners had continued to sustain response activities in states across the country despite progress made so far. Ihekwazu noted that following the large Lassa fever outbreak in 2018, the NCDC, together with partners, instituted 5 key measures to ensure improved preparedness in 2019. According to him, NCDC developed new case management guidelines, initiated a Lassa fever research consortium, and hosted an international conference on Lassa fever to share knowledge, adding that the center also supported full availability of drugs, personal protective equipment, laboratory reagents, and other supplies required for case management and diagnosis of Lassa fever. And moving on to the foreign scene, Israel launched air attacks in Gaza hours after rockets were fired near Tel Aviv, raising fears of a major escalation in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Explosions were heard in the Gaza Strip early today, and Palestinian witnesses said Israeli planes bombed Hamas security positions. About 30 raids targeted positions held by the military wing of Hamas and its ally, Islamic Jihad, causing significant damage, a Gaza Palestinian security source said. Local Palestinian agencies reported that a woman and her husband were both injured in the southern city of Rafah, but did not provide further details. The Israeli military said it was attacking terror sites in Gaza hours after it said 2 rockets were launched from the enclave at the Tel Aviv area. And on sports news, Manchester United will slug it out with FC Barcelona for a place in the last 4 of the 2018-2019 UEFA Champions League. According to the draws by UEFA today, last year's finalist Liverpool will book a date with FC Porto, while Tottenham will play Manchester City. Juventus will travel to Holland to face FC Ajax for a place in the last 4. The quarter-final first legs take place on 9 April and 10 April. The semi-finals start on 30th April and 1st May. The 2019 final will take place on 1st June in Madrid. And that's it in the news tonight. Remember that you can follow news and programs on ABS from any parts of the world by logging on to our website, www.absradiotv.com. Like us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/ABS Radio Television. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at ABS Radio TV. And just before we go tonight, a quick reminder of our top stories. State government to intensify enforcement of ban on street trading. Governor Obiano announced this while commiserating with Opiweka Onitsha and Umuchu accident victims. Today is World Consumer Rights Day. Federal government has announced decline in laser fever cases. On the foreign scene, we brought to you that Israel has launched air attack on Gaza after rockets fired at Tel Aviv. And that's the size of our package tonight. Many thanks for joining the bulletin. I'm Ebere Ugunna.